Out the gate, this is not a hate video about Otz himself. This video's just made to talk about one really bad take he happened to have. I saw it and went, oh, there are gonna be a lot of players and behavior staff members that are gonna see this and go, whatever Mr. DBD creator man says. And the only way I felt I could fully explain my point was through a video, so here we go.
What if, instead of making map offerings send you to a specific map, we reversed them and we made it so that when you use a map offering for, say, Lery's, it just prevents you from going to Lery's.
This is something I actually think could and should be in the game. When I first got DBD, one of my first questions was, why isn't there a way to ban maps?
If I'm a survivor and I don't want to go to an indoor map, let's say that I use the Hawkins offering because I don't want to go to Hawkins, well, I could go to Lery's. It just changes, it literally changes a little bit my chances, but I could still go to an indoor map. If I'm playing Ghostface and I don't want to play in an outdoor map and I burn an Eerie of Crows because I don't want to go to Eerie, well, I could still go to Ormond. So this literally would do nothing.
When he said this, it actually became like completely clear to me what the problem was. He pretty much propped up this one idea in his head that this is the only reason people would use map offerings. I don't want to go indoor, so I'm gonna ban an indoor map. Oh, I just go to a different indoor map. Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense. That's not the argument for why they'd be good, but I apparently now need to explain what that actual argument is. So, you bring map offerings because you want to go to a specific map since it's good for your killer or build. You'd want to ban a map if that map is bad for your killer or build. That's easy enough to grasp, but it seems like what we really need is a more thorough example. I love playing Unknown. He's not so strong that it's boring, he's not so weak that it's grueling, he has fun and unique counterplay, and the best palette stun in the game. But the issue I have with playing Unknown is when I get sent to either Toba Landing or Nostromo Wreckage, and I'm like, all around me are familiar unknowns, worn out grey clones, worn out pain in their moans. To understand why, I need to explain the most important part of his power, his bubble. If you hit a survivor, they become weakened, and if you hit a weakened survivor, they take damage. The trick is you don't want to hit them directly, you want to hit around them, because the bubble pops, and in that popped area is where they actually get hit. It can be shot over obstacles, it can bounce off of obstacles, and it can hit through any obstacle or wall as long as it's thin enough. I know that makes it sound really strong, but it's actually completely balanced out by the fact that it is totally reactable. With its travel speed and arm time, all survivors have to do is pay attention to the bubble and they can dodge it. Now, I know that makes it sound like it's really bad, but once again, Unknown's actually a well-designed killer, and he has something he can do about that. Bounce the bubble. As you play Unknown, you'll realize it gets harder and harder to hit survivors directly, because as long as they're paying attention, the bubble's so easy to dodge. But if you bounce the bubble, now they don't know exactly where you're looking and exactly where to dodge from. Bouncing the projectile gives the survivor too much to keep track of. A survivor being chased by Unknown has to look at you to get rid of their weakened state, look to see where they're going if they're gonna make it to a window or pallet, watch the bubble so they can dodge once you shoot it, and stay out of melee range so they don't just get M1'd. But if you're going for a bank shot, now the survivor also has to pay attention to all of the props that are nearby. Here, because the Nia isn't paying attention, she thinks all she has to do is dodge to the right because I aimed so far to the left. But that's actually exactly what I was hoping for. Going for bank shots means the survivor has to pay attention to every object that's nearby, know what angles the bubble can bounce off of those objects, guess which angle you're gonna go for, all while still doing those previous 4 things. And if they see you aiming past them and think you're gonna miss, that actually just makes it a free hit. Not only all of that, bouncing the bubble makes you a threat even without line of sight. That's what makes Chase with Unknown tricky and interesting every time. But then I get put on Nostromo or Toba, and I don't know what angles the bubble is gonna get sent at. So a lot of the time, it's better to just not use my power, because it's a gamble if it's even gonna go where I want it to go. Meanwhile, if I was just on a different map with different props, I could have used my power, like normal. So you've heard me complain about it, but now let's play a little game so you can get where I'm coming from. Try to guess which of these 3 colored spots the UVX bubble will land in after it bounces. And don't worry, there's more. So keep track of your score and tell me how you do. I love having to deal with the guessing game every time I'm on Toba or Nostromo. Speaking of Nostromo, this isn't going to be a game. I just want you to pay attention to just how few pixels I move the camera and how much that affects where the bubbles land. Okay, I have one more thing, but y'all are just gonna have to bear with the really bad quality of this clip for a second. I know the Michaela's running for the pallet, but what's this? A fucking microscopic root? Surely, since Toba Landing is a good map, this tiny root shouldn't affect the bubble, right? Oh no, of course it has bounce collision, which makes it perfectly miss the Michaela. It was stupid of me to think that that wouldn't be a thing. I mean, why don't they just give every blade of grass bounce collision? Then every map could be like Toba. Maybe you get the idea, maybe you don't, but in case you don't, I'm here to let you know that there are even worse cases of killers with map-specific problems. For an issue that's very hard to ignore, let's go to a certain Pyramid Head player and see what he thinks about Lery's. So I literally recorded and edited this part of the video the day before they finally fixed the Pyramid Head issue on Lery's, but my point still stands. There are plenty of other killer map-specific issues. I just didn't feel like bothering getting the footage of the rest of those. And, like, at least for now, Pyramid Head still has this same bug on maps like RPD, so...
Well, our power bugs a lot on this map, so this will be interesting. Wallbang here, maybe? No, the map ate my power. Could you tell by the audio cue? It makes a more crunchy sound. The map ate my power. You could tell by the audio cue. Somebody was working on that gen. It should have been a hit, probably. I don't know why I'm trying to use my power on this dang map. There are some walls where your power doesn't go through on Lery's. And by some, I mean like a lot of walls. Map ate my power. Could you hear the... That's fine. Well, the thing is that this map has been bugged for Pyramid Head since his release. Yeah, it's been bugged for years. Oh, my power literally didn't even shoot right here. There it goes.
If there was a button that said, hey, don't worry, we won't put you on the map that makes your power an inconvenience, that'd be great. Some people will say, oh, but this gives the devs an excuse to be lazy and not fix map-specific bugs. But, like, did you not just hear what Willie said? Years. That bug has been in the game since Pyramid Head's release. The devs don't need an excuse to not fix killer map bugs, because they're just not gonna fix them anyways. So, instead of forcing players to play through what the devs refuse to fix, how about giving players an option to ban a map that arbitrarily counters their killer? All of that is the main reasoning for map bans. The big reason. The rest of this is still part of the argument, less important, but I will of course still include it. Let's get into the emotional reason for wanting map bans. I don't care how many times people say Midwich is a good killer map. I fucking hate Midwich. I hate Hallway Simulator. It's such a boring map. The only time I've ever had fun on it was once with a random Sable where she started chasing me through the loops. I fucking hate Midwich. It is shit, and I honestly want to DC every time I get put on it. I don't care if you say it's good for killer. I hate that map. So no, Otz, banning Midwich wouldn't stop me from going to another indoor map, so I guess it's good that my issue isn't that it's an indoor map, it's that having to walk through hallways for 10 minutes makes me want to commit crimes. In-game, no, guys, like an in-game crime. The crime is playing nurse for the next 5 matches. Maybe if I'm playing Slinger, I don't want to go to Garden of Joy for the 8th time today. Yeah, there are worse maps, but getting sick of the game picking one map that it really wants you to go to isn't that uncommon, actually. Nope, okay, put me back on Garden of Joy. The last point is about accessibility. Let's say you don't have the best setup and monitor, so trying to play on the Coldwind Farm maps is a fucking drag and like, just not playable. Maybe you hate being absolutely blinded every time you load into Armand at 1 a.m. Now, hopefully all of that I mentioned makes it clearer why people bring up map bans so much. It's more than just, I don't want to go indoor, I don't want to go outdoor. It's, my killer power is inconvenienced on this map, or maybe just straight up bugged. It's, this map just makes me want to DC, like I'm probably just gonna go stand in the corner. And just stop sending me to Ormond at 1 a.m, you want me to go play a different game?
Play something else.
No way, you right, you so real for that. My fellow DVDers, this has been why map bans should be in the game, why aren't they in the game? But I actually have 2 more things to say on the topic of if map bans were finally added. For one, they should not be tied to offerings. There are already so many things in the offering slot, like it honestly just feels like it needs to be reworked. And could you imagine trying to get a specific map ban offering and then you end up having to play on that map 4 times and then you finally get the map ban in the Blood Web and you use it and then the next match you just go to the same map again? Map bans would just need to be a setting, like on the killer menu you see one of the little buttons on the side says you pick your map ban and you pick the map and then it's banned. You won't go to that map on any of the matches you get put in. And lastly, you may have noticed that this entire video, I have been speaking from the perspective of why map bans would be good for killer. That's because if map bans were added, they should only be for killer, not survivor. There are 41 characters currently in the game. 40 of those are killers. The last one is survivor. Every single map is designed to be playable for survivor because every single match, you're gonna have 4 of them. There aren't maps that keep Survivor from being able to play the game like they'd normally play it, except for 2 special cases. Haddonfield and Forgotten Ruins. The thing is, survivors aren't countered by anything in those maps. They're countered by nothing being in those maps. Because of how small they are combined with their sparse layout, Haddonfield and Forgotten Ruins basically guarantee a nasty 3-gen that completely negates the need for micro and macro scale gameplay, because the killer can just say, I'm gonna stand here and if a survivor shows their face, I hit them, and then go back to standing here. It's not that those maps counter Survivor, it's that those maps counter how the game is supposed to work. There isn't one other map in the game that's balanced so badly that survivors should theoretically lose every single time. Those maps have a fundamental issue. It is nothing like how certain killers will do better on certain maps, but worse on others. Haddonfield and Forgotten Ruins just need to be kill switched and reworked. Cause like, this isn't even fun for killer either. But yeah, that's actually it this time. Have map bans be a menu option when you pick killer, and yeah, that's all. Don't listen to this false teacher, this spreader of map ban hate. Who is this liar anyway?